Yeah, baby. That's right. You ain't gonna take it anymore. Yeah. Are you feeling the loose juice, baby? Here we go. Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. Because that's all you can do in this world is take care of yourselves and your loved ones, of course. Welcome back to another day and another dollar of getting taxed out your ass. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we got lots to talk about today because this world is all fucking made up. Everything that you know, everything that you think you know is made up. We heard about that from Terrence just a few podcasts ago. But let's get even deeper into it. Let's talk about all of the bullshit that's made up around you. And I'm not talking about some Matrix-ass shit. I'm not talking about some we're living in a parallel dimension type shit. I'm talking about the real world shit that's made up in front of your eyes and making your life a miserable disaster. Or at least the vast majority of Americans and probably people all around the world. And why we fought in wars over it. So let's get into it, okay? Thank you to Twisted Sister for our inaugural song there. Let's talk about some made up BS and how it's affecting you and how it's affecting me. So let's talk about how let's just talk about America just for a moment. And we'll talk about how it applies to the rest of the alien stuff and the rest of the conspiracy stuff, and we'll get into that. So, what do you think in your life is made up? I've made a whole category, a whole list of it, and we're going to go through it. So, what do you think I'm talking about? You think I'm talking about ghosts? Do you think I'm talking about aliens? Do you think I'm talking about your grandma visiting you at 3 a.m. after she's been dead for 10 years? Although that happened to me. No. I'm not talking about any of that, actually. I'm talking about everything around us is almost a figment of our imagination. It's all made up. Everything of humanity has been made up since the dawn of time. I'm talking about taxation, land ownership, crypto, your future, how you perceive things, what's reality, and we're going to get into all of it. So let's go back to the beginning of America. Let's go back to how it affects us right now. Let's go into land ownership. This is very interesting because I just watched a video on TikTok of a Native American indigenous person who came upon police who were trying to give a ticket to a native. The problem is in America, if you're on native land, the police of America can't come on, like the local police can't come onto the land and try to ticket you. They can't do it. It's not their area of law scope. They can't do anything. So it's interesting. It just made me think of this entire podcast, but there's lots of parts to this, so just stay tuned. We gave the natives all their small portion of land. And this native came on and said, hey, get the hell out of here. This is our land. You're not supposed to be here at all. Take a look at this. So we made up where they can live, right? We had the Trail of Tears where we brought them to their land, and that was going to be your land. That's it. A non-harvestable piece of crap land. That's what you get. Basically all dirt. Now, let's move to the next step. America, right? This is all part of America. Taxes, totally made up. The 40-hour work week, totally made up. Money, totally fucking made up. The barter system was around for a long time. We bartered for goods and services. That's a good system. The law, 100% made up. America, imprisoning 751 people per 100,000 is over 70 times the number of any other country. 100% made up. Land of the free, home of the imprisoned, more like it. Your life and how you view it, made up. Your belief systems are made up. Your future has yet to be determined by the beliefs that you have. Made up. Is everything made up? How is anything real? How do we know if anything is real? They say the only thing in life that is certain are death and taxes. Well, that's a joke, because countries are broken down and changed every century, every millennia. Not every country taxes the same. The United States is a joke. And we are about to see the outcome of the systems that have been put in place. So let's just take a little step back in time. Let's go back to what we fought for in the first place. The Boston Tea Party, for example. A lot of people don't know about this. Now, you've talked about this, you heard about this in class, but let's just look at taxes for a moment. I got a funny video here. I want you to see it because I think it'll make this a little bit more lighthearted and entertaining. Let this video entertain you for a moment.
How did we go from fighting a revolution over a 2% tax on a breakfast beverage to what we pay today? And we're taxed on money when we receive it, when we spend it, when we keep it, when we invest it, and even when we die with it. It gets worse. We commute to work to make that money in a car that is taxed again to register on roads we're already taxed to build, fueled by gas that is taxed even further, and many times through tolls that tax you again. And that's to maintain bridges and highways and tunnels that already have billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, allocated to them, and they're still falling apart. And then when you get to your office that is taxed to exist, in a corporation that is also taxed to do business, that almost certainly requires permits and other things, which are another tax, you are paid a paycheck that the corporation must match another payroll tax on top of what they have to pay you. Then you go to a home of which you are taxed to own every single year that we bought with money that the government already taxed us on. Oh, by the way, the more money you make and the more you pay in taxes warrants the government taking more and even higher percentages of your money.
Now, see, this is what frustrates the shit out of me, is that there's videos out there that already explain all this, and yet nothing's really been done. It's almost as if the Boston Tea Party worked back in the day and we had representation, and now we're almost as bad as Britain was. We're as bad as England was. Matter of fact, we might be worse than England was. You might say, well, oh, come on, lockdown. Hey, man, at least they're not taking over countries. Really? We took over the entire United States from the natives. So let's look back at the Boston Tea Party. The Boston Tea Party, like they said, they took over this entire ship that had $1 million worth of tea on it and threw over the tea because of 2% tax, of a 2% tax. So this occurred on December 16, 1773. They dumped 342 chests of tea. When they did this, they stated that they would not tolerate taxation and tyranny while sitting down, and they rallied the entire American colony patriots to fight for independence. They actually didn't have independence at this time. Remember, England was still coming over here and was saying, hey, this is basically New England. Interestingly enough, right? You hear about New England all the time. New England patriots, interestingly enough. So this resulted in the Boston Massacre, where there was a fight March 5th, 1770, where English troops gunned down 5 colonists who were upset about the taxes. The Tea Act was imposed. Then the Tax Act was imposed. The Tea Act basically allowed the British East India Tea Company to sell tea to the colonies duty-free, much cheaper than other tea ports. And this was after Britain had repealed taxes it had imposed on colonists for forever. Don't you feel similar to the colonists right now? You feel like you're being taxed to fucking death. You feel like we're in this recession. But if we were being run by politicians that were taking care of us, then they would repeal some of these taxes. Like, I believe Illinois repealed their 1% grocery tax just to alleviate some pressure. It's 1% tax, not a lot, right? But it's something. Now, it'd be nice if we could get some additional assistance from the federal government, but the federal government doesn't seem to give a shit about you or I. What happens when the government doesn't give a shit about you or I? The Boston Tea Party happens, right? You get people who just don't believe in their government anymore. So what's the aftermath? June of 1774, George Washington stated the cause of Boston ever will be considered the cause of America. Their conduct in destroying the tea were mad, and Washington, like many other elites, held private property to be sacrosanct, meaning that it shouldn't be taxed. So your private property shouldn't be taxed. Your house shouldn't be taxed. Your private property. Your car shouldn't be taxed. What do you have to do? You have to register. You have to pay all the taxes on it. You have to pay it when you buy it. You have to pay when you sell it. You have to pay it when you own it. It's bullshit. So this is what I'm talking about. Everything is made up until somebody else makes up the rules. Who makes up the rules? The mighty make up the rules. Imagine if aliens came down. They would make up the rules. It's all about who has the most power. Who came over to America and made America theirs? Those who had better weapons than who's already living here. Imagine if any alien species came down and wanted to take over Earth. They could do it because they have the power. Oh, and you might say, wait a second. I remember a video back in 1954 when there were 3 triangle craft flying over the Capitol. I remember that video, and they all had lights on each tip. Gee, I wonder if those aliens started to tell our Congress and our president how to run things and how to keep everybody in line so that they could reap what they wanted, which was probably power. They are receiving power from us just putting our heads down and just doing our jobs. That's it. That's all they need. It's almost like Kris Kringle needing someone to believe that he's Santa Claus. To have the power, if you saw the Santa Claus movie with Tim Allen, you needed people to believe in him for him to exist. It's the same thing with a new government. It's the same thing with new taxes. Same thing with anything. Your future. How you believe in things. What do you believe your future is going to be? What do you want your future to be? I'll tell you what. A couple years ago, I was in a bad spot. I was in a horrible spot. I had nothing. I didn't really have a whole lot going on. I mean, I was renting a house. It's just I just didn't see a future. And then a couple years after that, I was able to move into a house and have a much better lifestyle. And you might say, well, okay, that you had certain things happen. No, it was actually because somebody pushed me to believe in myself. Someone pushed me to believe in myself, and now I do. And that's what a lot of people need. We need to believe in ourselves and what we can do to change our future. That's either changing your job, changing your position, changing your relationship, changing your lifestyle, and changing what's happened over the past 8 decades of the government lying to us about aliens. Everything is made up. Everything is made by our perception. Even what happens during the course of an accident, 2 people crashing into each other, 2 perceptions. One person's perception, another person's perception in that crash. And then you might say, well, then there's the total truth. If you were looking outside to see what really happened. But who would be the determiner of that? Someone looking at a tape and saying, hey, wait a minute, this is what happened and this is what happened. But do they have the full picture? You might ask a person on the corner, hey, what did you see? Another person on the corner, hey, what did you see? And those 2 people might say, hey, it was that person's fault. Another person might say it's that person's fault. It all bases down to perception, even at the atomic level. Remember those experiments where they used the particles and they shot them through the double slit experiment, and when they were not being observed, they functioned like a wave, and when they were being observed, they functioned more like a line and a dot. It's all about perception. It's all about how you view things. It's all about whether or not you're being viewed. It's fucking fascinating. Think about this for a moment. And if you can't understand that experiment, think about this. Let's say your kid, you drop them off to a tennis practice or a tennis camp. And the kid's like, oh, no, I'm good. You guys can go. I don't need you to stay. Let's say you stay. Now that child's being observed. That person's being observed. They have the additional pressure of being observed. They may not do as well, or they may do better. Now, if you leave, now there's some pressure alleviated, right? There's not a lot of pressure. Oh, I might do, that person, that child might do better. It's about perception. It's about the perception of being perceived and the perceiving. I know it may sound like I'm kind of being a little bit tangential, and maybe that might be true, but it all builds up to this whole idea that everything is made up. Everything is made up. We all feel like we're imprisoned by laws and by the society and everything else. Well, have you ever seen a video of somebody going over to like Europe, like living in Spain, or going down to Central America and living in Costa Rica, and they're like, "Oh my God, you guys can't believe the difference. It's night and day. You got to get out of America." Well, it's because it is night and day different. You go down there and there's different taxes, there's different lifestyles, there's different ways of living so that you're not so stressed. The 40-hour work week doesn't exist in a lot of countries. The 40 and the vacation times, they are wildly different in other countries. America is about to see the downfall of the system it put in place to be a good system. The more laws you have, the more chances you have of people breaking them, and the more chances you have of the entire system crumbling. You have to have a simple system. The more moving parts you have in a system, the more likely it is to break. And so if you don't have a simple system, you're bound for failure. You know, you want the less moving parts, the better. If you can have just a couple of gears, a couple of laws, keeping things in line, everything will be fine. But it's all about perception. America has this perception we have to have everything perfect, and we have to have all these laws, and we have to have everything. Blah, blah, blah. That is the sincere problem. So again, right, this is all kind of a long story about how everything is made up, using America as the tool for that specific purpose and for the purpose of this podcast. Everything is made up. Everything from the colonists coming over, taking over the land. Whose land is it? That video, like I talked about at the very beginning, where the Native American had to fight off the police force that was illegally on their land trying to give somebody a ticket and forcing them to come to court that was not even on Native American land. It was insane, unless the person left Native American land. But when it comes down to who's right, who's wrong, whose laws are whose laws, the natives had to buy back land that was stolen from them. Do we now as Americans have to buy back land that was stolen from us by the government? The government stating you must pay all of these taxes or you can't own your house? Do you know how many people that are homeowners that have paid off their house can't stand the fact that they have to continue to pay taxes on a house where they don't have children in schools, which is where 80% of those taxes, quote unquote, go to, and the rest of the 20% supposedly go to like roads and things like that. These retirees are paying their water, they're paying for their utilities, they're paying for that. But should they have to pay $5,000, $10,000 worth of taxes a year when they're getting a few $1,000s in Social Security? It's all a system that's made up. Is it a system that works for us anymore? Is it working for you? Is it working for your family? Will it work for us when AI comes for your job and you have to collect unemployment where you might be making half or a quarter of what you're making now, and you won't be able to pay your bills? And when the banks come for your house, what are you going to do? That's the question. Everything's made up. Cryptocurrency made up. People make, and for those who don't know what crypto is, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, anyone can make their own coin, and it's total bullshit. And then people invest in that coin, and then those people who created that coin can take all of their money. It's all made up. Trust me, I've been following crypto and investing in crypto for almost a decade. Everything is made up. The dollar that's in your pocket, made up. Cut from a tree, printed on a press. Everything is made up. We could make toast valuable tomorrow. The most valuable commodity. If we wanted to. We could make humans the most valuable commodity and invest in ourselves. I'll let you guys go. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. I hope you guys are thinking about this. I hope that you guys are educating your children about change, about the future, about the possibilities of the future. The world that we're in right now, if you are a working person, whether you're 20 and listening to this, or whether you're 65 and listening to this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We all want positive change for our children. So if you got to talk to your grandchildren, do it. If you got to talk to your children, do it. If you're thinking about it for yourself, say, how can I make a change? You can make a change. You can make a change. We as American public can make a change. It just takes a group of people coming together and deciding that we're not going to stand for this type of lifestyle anymore. So I hope you guys take care of yourselves, vote, run for office, make up a new reality. It's all made up already. You can make a better one. We're counting on you. Take care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. Make new dreams if you need to. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Do what makes you happy. All right, guys. Lockdown Universe out. Peace. Go like, follow, share, subscribe.